right, 150 years ago, President Lincoln made his monumental Gettysburg Address. But as Americans flock to southern Pennsylvania, in commemoration, you won't find President Obama joining in that honor. Is it inappropriate for our president to bypass this celebration? Our next guest argues it's more than fitting. He's Wall Street Journal's own. He's a columnist, Daniel Henniger, often on the Wall Street Journal show we watch over the weekend. Dan, what do you mean it's fitting?
Well, you know, Brian, the thing that Lincoln said at the Gettysburg Address is that they were gathered there for what he called unfinished business. And the unfinished business was the Civil War, the liberation of the slaves. And I remarked that that the ascendancy of Barack Obama to the presidency in 2008 was in many ways completing the circle of Lincoln's unfinished business. But at the same time, that Gettysburg Address was about unifying the country, the Civil War he had fought to bring the country together. Barack Obama presides over a country that is more intensely politically divided than any of us can remember. And it seemed to me that if Obama came under those circumstances and spoke about unifying the country, it would not sit well with half the country who so disagrees with him.
You're forced to speculate because you have not gotten a good answer, nor has anyone, about why he isn't there. He has an opening in his schedule, doesn't he?
He has an opening in his schedule. The ceremony is at 10 o'clock this morning. I do not believe he is doing anything, and it is just inconceivable that the president would not have taken the opportunity to talk about a president he so admired on this special day, representing what it does.
I'm going to bring you to a passage in the Gettysburg Address, and you tell me if you think it's noteworthy. This nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
That, I think, is the heart of it, Brian. Lincoln said a new birth of freedom. I think he was talking about a radical freedom. And in Lincoln's mind, it was going to be about the freedom for individuals. But throughout the course of his presidency, Barack Obama, in his speeches, has always spoken about we the people. By that he means we, the federal government. We, Washington, tells people what to do. And it seems to me that that is completely at odds with Lincoln's idea of what the new birth of freedom represented.
I actually think you'd have to pay him to stay away fundamentally, but he's not going to be there. Dan, do you think this has a role in it? Do you think the fact that after that address and after the Civil War, we still weren't a perfect union? We still had to wait for the Civil Rights Act and so many, and the integration of schools, Brown versus Board of Education?
I think probably that President Obama does think the unfinished business remains unfinished in bringing the country and its races together, but this would have been a unique, invaluable opportunity for him to describe how that process could be completed, and he's not doing it.
Dan, well, thanks for speculating with me. Appreciate it. And he wrote a great column as usual.
Good to be with you,
Thanks so
Brian.
much, Dan. Meanwhile,